So let's get into these previews. We're going to go ahead start with what we think the table is going to be. So we'll start off with what we believe. And going from top to bottom, we have Louisville City in first, Charleston second, Tampa Bay in third, Pittsburgh in fourth, the Detroit City in fifth, Rhode Island in sixth, Loudoun in seventh, Hartford in eighth, Legion are our first team out at ninth, Indy 11 and 10th, the Miami FC in 12th. You got Brooklyn, or sorry, in 11th, got Brooklyn in 12th, and you got the other new boys, Sporting Jacks, down there getting the wooden spoon. But how do we differ from the fans? Well, the fans, they think it's going to be Louisville in first, Charleston in second, Pittsburgh in third, Tampa Bay in fourth, Rhode Island in fifth, Detroit City in sixth, Hartford in seventh, Indy in eighth, Loudoun down in ninth, our first team out, Legion in 10th, Brooklyn in 11th, Sporting Jackson 12th, and the Miami FC in last. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the preview. And that is my Birmingham Legion FC. They bring down Jay Heaps, the former coach, to be the CEO and the head coach. And for the first time really in club history, they've had a pretty hard reset. Is this midfield, is the shakeup in the midfield going to be enough to power this team forward?
I'd love for you to take the lead on this, Kaylor, because I will say I think the answer is yes, but you've seen these guys live. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I saw them last week take on Chattanooga Red Wolves, which we'll get to them next week, but I really like what I'm seeing out of the Red Wolves. I think quietly this might be the best Legion roster constructed. And I know people are going to see names on paper and not believe that, but I really do believe that this might be the best, most well-rounded roster. Do I think that means they're going to be competing with the top four? No, I really don't. I think the top four is by themselves. But I think this team is absolutely going to be able to push for anywhere from that 5 to 8 range, no doubt. What we saw was Tyler Pasher playing the 10. The first time Legion has played with a 10 since Bruno Lapa, and even then Lapa was more of an 8, a box-to-box midfielder. We have Sam Sashua and we got Seth Antwi playing as the double pivot. And then over on the right side, they have the Arbian, who comes from Revs 2, playing that left-hand side where he's an inverted winger, cutting inside. For my Legion fans, he's like he's like a left-sided Prosper Kasim. He's going to cut inside, kind of be another midfielder for you to have there, but he's going to cut inside, put some crosses. And then Seba Tregarthen, I mean, John, you've been all over him, and I love this guy. I think he's going to put a lot of people on blast. I think he's that good. In goalkeeper, I think that you have Colliette, who I think is a massive upgrade on Delgado and Matt Van Okel. I think my question marks are going to be with the wingback side of this with McCartney and Daly. Are they going to be able to get enough of those guys to really make a difference? McCartney, I believe in the talent, but his injury history that has not shown me he can play a full season. I'm really bullish on this team, but they are nowhere close to competing with this top four.
Yeah, and by all the Seth Antwi stock that you've got is probably my takeaway from the offseason so far. And there's a lot to like here, but he is the piece that really gives you balance through the midfield. We were down on the pivot last season. We talked a lot about the number 6 spot for this team. Antwi, based on what he did with St. Louis City 2, can come in and just be the problem solver immediately. He's good as a destroyer. He's good as a ball carrier. He can set the tempo. It's that little bit of everything that feels very additive, and it'll let Pasher have more freedom if he is playing centrally. It'll let Shashua do his thing as a creator. Like, that's the balance that this team really needed.
And one thing that is encouraging from our rankings was the fans had them within this very narrow group that you mentioned, Kaylor, of that kind of 6 to 10 range, that they could very well be finding themselves back into the playoff picture as well. I think one of the initial first goals for this season is that they should win back-to-back games in the league for the first time since June 2024 when Inside Out 2 was in theaters. But this team has at least done enough to revamp and overhaul the squad, with having brought Jay Heaps in, as well as that they could certainly find their luck go in their favor and be on the other side of the playoff line in this top 8.
I think for me, and I just kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts because I can talk forever about this team, obviously. But if I am looking as an outsider, getting a completely unbiased look at this team, what is for you guys the front line where you're looking at a Saucedo / DRBN, you're looking at a Damas, and you're looking at a Tregarthen or a Pasher if he has to move out there? Is there enough goal scoring there to propel this team? Because Damas was kind of doing it all, but nobody else was.
I am high on the left-sided options especially, and I'm high on Tregarthen. Are they going to be up at the top of the goal-scoring table as a team? No. Will they be enough if this defense is good to hold up their bargain and get Birmingham to win some 2-1 scorelines? To me, the answer is yes. And Damas, we can't understate, he is an all-USL number 9 in the right system. He should be a guy that is getting 12 to 15 goals if this team is competent. And everything rolls off of that, because then you have to double team him. Then the defense is constantly having him in the back of their minds. It just opens up space for everybody else to do their thing. The more I think about Birmingham, the more I think that is going to be the case. And Damas is going to get back to that dominant form. And you've got enough options on the wing that somebody's going to come good.
What about some final thoughts for this Birmingham team?
Do you think, and I'm posing a question to you again, do you think Kavita and Patterson are up to the task in the year 2026?
Okay, so this is actually something I wanted to ask you guys as well, because maybe I'm jaded. I love them both as players and as humans, but pace has not been their thing in a long time. I was stunned when Bryce Washington was not starting because he offered some speed that this back line has not truly had since Alex Crognale left. I think I would drop Patterson for Washington, but also Patterson provides you so much on the ball that you don't want to lose him either. I think you're losing something if you drop either one. Kavita is probably going to be the captain this year. He's strong as an ox, super smart player, can organize the team in front of him. Patterson offers so much on the ball, can ping a good pass if you need. You don't really get that from Washington. But as I saw versus Chattanooga last week, any sort of speed in behind and it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, good luck.
Okay, that's pretty much exactly where I'm at, where in the context of Patterson and Kavita's age, the way the East is going to play out this year, Washington just feels like the athletic profile you need. I wouldn't be shocked if Jay Heaps comes to that same conclusion sooner rather than later.
Also want to just throw some on in chat that says Damas offers nothing off the ball, which I could not disagree more, at all. He's one of the more effective pressers I've seen in Birmingham, and his runs are really intelligent off the ball. The issue in Birmingham is that there was literally nobody else on the team running beside him, so he was making off the ball runs for literally no one. So I don't think that's a Damas issue. I think that was a Birmingham issue.
He is so good in transition, not even with the ball at his feet, but understanding in the moment when you can break, when you can start to be that player that's either going to get the ball or going to drag defenders out and set up that secondary run. I think there are moments where he can be a little bit lackadaisical, but he knows when to turn it on at just the right time.